Welcome everyone to another episode of Cooking with Annie. It's really nice to connect with you. It's been this interaction back and forth, and your suggestions have all been fabulous. So what we're going to work on today is roast chicken, and then how to turn this roast chicken into two other meals. So first thing is the whole chicken. The second is both what do you do with the leftover chicken meat, and the third is how to use these bones as then to make broth for some of the soups that we've already talked about, for example. So to start with, the wings get tucked in and underneath like that. Otherwise, if you have those sticking up, they end up burning. Inside the chicken is a bunch of deliciousness. So the heart and the liver and the neck are in there. That's the heart. All right, so those are going to become part of the broth. And then lastly, we're going to salt this liberally inside and out. And add some paprika and some black pepper. And then I'm going to go wash my hands, and I'll come back to you for the rest of the prep. All right, the last thing before we move on to the vegetables is to tie the legs together. And the reason for doing this is mostly cosmetic, rather than anything else. And there are other ways to tie the whole thing, but I find that if you just tuck those two leg ends together, it works beautifully. All right, so we're going to set that aside. And then we've got some vegetables that we're going to roast with it. So we have some enormous parsnips from Dandelion Spring Farm, one of the farmers from which we buy. And I'm going to cut these up. And then we've got a huge onion. We're going to cut that whole thing up. And then I think we're going to trim these carrots up, also from the farmer, and pop them on the pan whole. Okay, so before this goes into the oven, the last thing that we're going to do is salt and pepper all of those gorgeous veggies, and then drizzle them with a tiny bit of oil. This is going to take maybe an hour, hour and a half at 375, 400 degrees. Again, the recipe is going to be on the blog, and when we're ready to take it out of the oven, we'll come back to you. Alrighty, so that chicken is done along with all of those vegetables, which are looking super roasty and delicious. So I thought I might show you how to carve this chicken as well while we're at it, and get some of this meat off of the bones. And we're not, any of this juice, any of the fat there on the pan, that is all flavor right there, my friends. So we're not throwing any of that out. We're going to make a little pan sauce with that. Okay, so the idea would be that you'd take the thighs off and split those thighs from the leg. And when they're this perfect and well done, you can easily see where those joints are. So let's do this one together again. So you slice down alongside the breast, and you can start to feel in here and kind of even pry apart, so you can feel exactly where that joint is and get the knife in there. And then same thing here, you run the knife down and you can kind of feel where that joint is. And now there is a way that you can take the bone out of this thigh and slice those as well. but these are a little too hot to do that right this second. And then the other thing I do, I'm gonna hold this, is take the wings off. Same thing. You can, whoopsie, you can kind of pry those off and kind of get your knife in there and sort of pull at it a little bit so that you can get at the joint, right? And so both of those go on. And you would do this for, this is how you would do a duck, how you would do a turkey, same thing. All of the same thing. This part right here, that's called the oyster. The person who's carving gets to eat that part, and that part. There's one on either side. So maybe you save one for your love, but one is definitely for you. All right, and then to slice the breast, you just, oh, this skin is so perfectly crispy. I love it. You just head down and slice against the grain here. Yeah, looks gorgeous. And then that goes on the platter with the vegetables, and you've got this carcass then, which can become broth. So we've talked about soup already, and in another episode, I'm going to show you how to take this carcass and turn it into broth. Now, is it as flavorful as if you were starting from a full chicken? I mean, a fresh raw chicken? No, but it's darn good. So we'll get there in another episode. Until then, click like or subscribe and all the things that you're supposed to do there. Stay calm, be safe, be kind.